And so when I found YouCanBookMe, it was just like, it did everything I wanted it to do. And honestly, like I maybe tweak it once a year. Like it's literally set it, forget it, which is what I want. I don't want a product that I have to keep going back to and looking at. It's like everyone's got the links, they're all the same. And it makes it so easy to schedule a meeting, which is like the best.
So today I am joined by Shawn Miller, who is the founder of Young, Hip and Married, which is a series of marriage officiants. And he's joining us today from Vancouver. So thank you very much for joining us, Shawn. Tell us a little bit about your business and what you do and how you got into it.
Yeah, so my company is called Young, Hip and Married. We are a boutique wedding officiating company that helps couples get married. So when people think about getting married, they need someone to marry them. So traditionally that would have been a pastor or priest, but in this kind of modern day and age where most people are not religious, they need someone to marry them. So other parts of the world call it a celebrant. North America, we call it officiate, but our job is to marry a couple. And so what we do is a little bit unique. We do much more boutique wedding officiating, meaning we focus a lot more on storytelling, a lot less on advice giving and tradition. So we want to talk a lot more about our couples and a lot less at them. Give them a wedding ceremony that reflects who they are as individuals, who they are as a couple, tells them about their love story, and really allows them to be celebrated exactly as they are.
And so here in the UK, there are very specific places where you can and cannot be married. And so is it the same in the US and Canada, or can you go anywhere?
You go anywhere. So, I want to preface that with North America is a big place. But in my jurisdiction in British Columbia, you can literally get married anywhere. And we have done that. I have married people on stand-up paddle boards. I've married people in helicopters. I've married people in the remote mountains, in the backcountry of British Columbia. Anywhere that a couple wants to get married, you can get married, in British Columbia at least.
So you organize the whole thing, not just the
whole thing. Yeah, so we call it like a micro wedding or an elopement package. So we're not doing decor. So meaning like we're not setting up chairs and arches, and we're not getting your flowers and a cake, or we're not helping you pick out your dress. We're involved in the active side of things when it comes to the process of getting married. So that really includes the officiant, the one who's going to marry you, and that includes your vows and your script and everything that's going to be said. And then we're happy to help you capture that with some amazing vendors. So we offer photography and videography packages. But those are really the three services we offer.
And so how many officiants have you got?
So right now we got about 35 people on our team. We got about 9 different locations.
And so the officiants, I'm assuming they're not kind of full-time jobs. They have other work people and they just do this. It's like a freelance kind of thing.
Yeah. So it is like the ultimate side hustle for someone who is very heart-centered and heart-driven, meaning, the work we get to do when I hire someone, I'm looking for that, right? As much as you're going to make a living and make some money doing this, our top tier officiants, make $20,000, $30,000 a year on the side doing weddings. Like they do well on the side. But what I'm looking for are people who love the work. It's a real privilege and a real honor to proceed over someone's wedding. You have the microphone, you get this opportunity to carve out a moment in time for them. You're in charge in this moment. And it's a real position of power. And we tell our team that it's actually a position of service.
How do you ensure that the people you work with have the same kind of passion and that service mentality that you do? What do you look for?
Yeah, we go slow, right? So we look at typically their line of work, right? So a lot of people that work for us on the side come from service-based jobs. We're talking, people who are religious workers or pastors, people who are or city workers or social workers, people who are working for nonprofits, people who are nurses or firemen. These are people whose lives are based on serving, right? I don't have anyone working for me that is a financial planner or financial advisor, right? Or, it's just, it's people who really enjoy serving, right? And we use a few different tools, Enneagram and that sort of stuff to get an idea of person. But typically you're not drawn to this work unless you really want to serve someone, right?
So as the owner of the business, what keeps you up at night?
Well, because I'm a business owner, but I'm also still a business operator, meaning, so I run the company, but I also still perform weddings. Mm-hmm. So I kind of got, a foot in each pot. And so, part of me is responsible for my couple's well-being. I'll do almost 200 weddings a year personally, which I absolutely love. But that's a full-time job unto itself.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to run the company. And so my biggest thing I think about is all the ways that I want to innovate and continue to grow the business, and making sure that I'm carving aside the time to do that. That I'm not just working, in my business. I'm actually working on my business. So there's a project we got going right now where we're building an internal app for the team that is long overdue. And with AI now, it's become a lot simpler, but I'm building essentially an in-house app that will track all their weddings. It'll be a beautiful on their phone piece of tech that will really help them keep it very organized. So this is probably, long overdue.
It's interesting that, because I hear a lot of people, particularly with AI, but with anything else, like you have to give yourself time to step back to grow the business, or to build the business, or to do that cool thing, because you can get so in the weeds that you you're self-limiting yourself. So tell me how your business grows. How do you get new customers?
Yeah, we are pretty much 100% by referral only, and organic SEO and social media. So we don't do any advertising. We did for years. We spent the money on Google and Instagram and Facebook and did other things. And what we realized is, if we just took great care of people, and we can, encourage them to leave us a great review. If we do a great job at our weddings, we're in front of 100 people at every wedding. Okay, we're in front of 100,000 people a year. We just got to do a great job taking care of people. And so really at the core of our business, what we do is relationships. So it's relationships with the key vendors in our cities. It's great relationships with our clients. And then it's also about adding great value. So we post, almost a reel a day on social media about some kind of tip around wedding ceremonies, or, something to do with your wedding. And we have a beautiful following of people. And it's about adding value, and then hopefully they'll see the value and enroll us in their service.
And so, but you have fantastic social media fodder, don't you? I mean, like, everybody loves wedding photos. Everybody loves those fantastic locations that you've got. It must be wonderful it's quite easy for you to come up with some social media stuff. So you've been using YouCanBookMe since 2021, so almost 5 years. What made you think we need a scheduling tool? Or were you using another scheduling tool and you moved?
I think I was using one that was more limiting at the time. I don't want to name the app that I was using, but it just didn't have the flexibility that I wanted. We're different booking pages, and the way they sync to your calendar, the placeholders and the follow-ups and the different meeting types. It was limiting in the scope of what I wanted to do. And so when I found YouCanBookMe, it was just like, it did everything I wanted it to do. And honestly, I maybe tweak it once a year. It's literally set it, forget it, which is what I want. I don't want a product that I have to keep going back to and looking at. It's like everyone's got the links, they're all the same. And it makes it so easy to schedule a meeting, which is like the best.
What was something that was like unexpectedly challenging about running your business?
I think the management of the internal team was a challenge for me. Just being a leader in leadership and understanding that you're in a leadership role, and then honoring the direction that you want to take the business, even when you might have people on your team that disagree with you. It's like, at the end of the day, it's my business, I'm running it. Like, I have to be aligned with the direction I want to go and where I want to take it. And sometimes that means people have been with you a long time are going to continue on the journey with you. I made some concessions for a number of years for certain members of my team, and didn't end great, because I started to lose myself, care less about the business. And then as I dug into it, I was like realizing, I'm making decisions that I don't really want to make, just because I thought I was being a good leader, right? I thought I was like, doing the right thing and putting what my team wants first. But at the end of the day, like, a business without a leader is doomed.
If you could go back to that person 16 years ago when you're just starting your business, what piece of advice would you give yourself?
I would say, study leader, learn how to be a leader. Yeah, and what that means for you. And yeah, I think that would have served me really well. I didn't get onto social media within my business until 2022-ish, simply because my team didn't think that I should be the face of the company. And, and I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And then the more coaching up, people were like, oh, like, you need to promote your own company. And then when I did, it caused some issues. Anyway, so now I am. Yeah, it's just like, but I didn't know that, right? Like,
you think they know what they're talking about, or maybe they have some kind of.
Well, and you want to make them happy. You want to make them happy, and you don't want to make them feel ostracized. And you want to be a good leader, but like, being a good leader doesn't necessarily mean making everyone happy.
Yeah,
those are two different things.
That's a very, very good quote. I love that quote. That's the one.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
There you go. That's it. Well, thank you so much for joining. It's been such a pleasure.
It was lovely. Thanks for having me.